we worked together, in Naperville where she lives, and she is now a Food for Life instructor with PCRM. Sharmila was featured by Dr. Barnard in his book, Your Body in Balance, where she talks about her own personal story and hormones. So I would encourage you to check out that book when you have a chance. So please tell us more about your program today with Food for Life.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Garg, for
Thank you.
introducing me. Welcome, everybody. As Dr. Garg said, I'm a newly minted Food for Life instructor uh, run by Dr. Neil Bernard, which many of you folks, if you're familiar with the plant-based world that we all live in, or most of us live in, you would know. He runs an organization based out of Washington, D.C., and promotes plant-based and lifestyle and avoid anything that comes from an animal. So I'm going to be featuring 3 recipes from his program. And then a few folks had requested an Indian recipe. So I'm going to show a really easy one-pot, instant pot recipe called khichdi, which is nothing but a rice and lentil porridge. And you can switch it on in the morning before you head to work. And then if you guys have the delay feature in your instant pot, it would work great because when you come home, it'll be piping hot and you can enjoy it with a slice of lemon and some plant-based yogurt if you have it handy. So before we get started, I just wanted to, most of you guys would have all the recipes. There is a really easy, it's called the Green Monster recipe. It's absolutely fabulous for folks who are really short of time. Put everything in a blender. The recipe has, it's just 3 cups of, baby spinach, kale. If you guys don't have that, Costco has Power Greens. You could even add that. 3/4 cups of fresh or drained canned pears or pineapple. Today I'm going to be using pineapple. 1.5 cups of green grapes. Again, this recipe is very flexible. If you guys don't have grapes, green grapes, you could use black grapes, red grapes, whatever you guys have handy, and bananas. And cooking is like, what do I call it, like a food experiment. So play around with it. You don't like bananas. There are some people who don't like bananas, don't want to add bananas, skip it. Add water and then blend it. And we have some ready, so we're going to be serving for you guys to taste and enjoy. Before we start serving, we're going to be showing a 15-minute, a short, I think it's almost 14 minutes video by Dr. Neil Bernard. He would be talking about introducing this lifestyle for folks who have not been introduced. It's also a good refresher for folks who have already been introduced to this lifestyle. So I think Gabriel would be playing that. So.
About a new Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Neil Barnard, and today we're going to learn about a new approach to eating. We're going to be talking about a diet, or a lifestyle really, that will give you as much control as possible over your health. For some of us, that means getting to or maintaining an ideal body weight. For others, it means protecting ourselves against heart disease or cancer or diabetes. Or maybe you already have a health issue and you want to find the best diet to treat or manage that condition in the most optimal way possible. Whatever the reason, you're in the right place. Now, so often when people talk about making a diet change or maybe the not so healthy diets that got us to where we are now, all of these kind of moral issues drop out of the ceiling. And when we talk about foods, we talk about them sometimes as sinful or decadent, or it's my fault that I got this way. Well, guilt is a big distraction. Just ignore it. We're going to throw it out. We are going to focus on biology. And if you happen to goof up and you eat something that is maybe not quite perfect, just get back up, dust yourself off, and we're going to move forward. Do you remember Dr. Dean Ornish's study, where he wanted to see if we can reverse heart disease and see if even clogged, ugly-looking arteries can open up? He started what was called the Lifestyle Heart Trial. His experimental program had just 4 easy steps. Number 1, vegetarian foods. Well, let me ask you, why would you use vegetarian foods for heart patients? Well, you want to get away from animal fat, right? Get away from cholesterol, right? Secondly, a half-hour walk every day or an hour 3 times a week, either way. Third, manage stress. And finally, avoid tobacco. That was the whole program. No drugs, no surgery. And what was a typical day's meals? Well, pretty simple. Maybe oatmeal with cinnamon and raisins, half a cantaloupe, rye toast, but no butter on the toast, right? And if you'd have chili, you'd choose the bean chili or vegetable chili instead of the meat variety. And you could have a salad, you could have fruit all day long. Pasta was okay, but not with the meat sauce. Creamy Alfredo, no dice, but a marinara sauce would be fine, or a spicy arrabbiata sauce, fair enough. These were easy changes, but in Dr. Ornish's research, the results were dramatic. Cholesterol dropped 24%. And do you know about LDL cholesterol? That's the low-density lipoprotein cholesterol, bad cholesterol. It dropped 37%. That's huge. And now, some people were thin already and some were pretty overweight, but the average person in the course of a year lost 22 pounds, which was great. What really made medical history was when they looked in the arteries to see the size of the artery blockages. They were actually opening up enough that you could see a measurable difference in 82% of patients in the first year. So my research team said, great, why don't we try the same kind of diet, not for heart patients, but just for people who want to lose some weight. So we used a low-fat vegan diet, and a vegan is not a person from the planet Vegas. A vegan diet just means no animal products at all. And low in fat meant avoiding added oils and high-fat foods like vegan pastries. We also asked our participants not to change their exercise habits because we wanted to zero in on what the diet changes alone could do. Now, in the course of 14 weeks, the average person lost 13 pounds, pretty good, and they also lost inches around their waist, and their insulin sensitivity improved. But more important than all of this was what happened over the long term. We put everybody on the scale, and after a year, they were skinnier than at the beginning, and then we put them on the scale again after 2 years, and they were thinner than they were at 1 year. In other words, if you can make a diet change so that you're getting the weight off and keeping it off over the long term, you're going to solve your problem. Makes sense. We then put this kind of diet to the test for people with diabetes. And if you have diabetes, you know that what we track is something called hemoglobin A1C. And that's a test that checks our blood sugar control over about a 3-month period. And in this slide, the red line is the people not following the vegan diet. They were following a control diet, which was the diet recommended at the time by the American Diabetes Association. A more conventional approach that limits carbohydrates, it might reduce calories for people who need to lose weight, and frankly, they did pretty well. Their A1C dropped by about 0.4 absolute percentage points. That's nice. But look at that blue line. That's the drop in the group following the vegan diet. They dropped by about 1.2 absolute percentage points. That's a bigger drop than you'll see with typical diabetes oral medications. That is huge. Now, let me put a personal face on this. This is Vance. Vance was a Washington, D.C. police officer, and his father was dead by age 30. Vance was 31 when he was diagnosed with diabetes, and he was in his late 30s when he came in to see us. And over the course of about a year on the vegan diet, he lost 60 pounds, and his A1C was 9.5 to start, which is not good. It dropped to 5.3, which is normal. His doctor stopped his diabetes medications, and he was on no medications with an absolutely normal hemoglobin A1C. Can you imagine what that feels like? And by the way, one other thing. When I asked his permission to share his story with people, he said, make sure you let everybody know that my erectile dysfunction went away too. This is Nancy. Nancy was about 60 years old, and in the course of a year on the low-fat vegan diet, she lost 40 pounds. Her A1C dropped from 8.3 to 6.8. She stopped all of her diabetes medications, and her arthritis improved too. Okay, so how does this diet work? Well, let's start with weight control. What's happening? Well, first of all, and this may be on the test, a gram of fat has 9 calories. Now, a gram is not very much. A gram doesn't even fill a thimble, but it has 9 calories. But in contrast, carbohydrate, whether it's from bread or rice or a potato, has only 4. Okay? A gram of fat, 9. A gram of carbohydrate, 4. And that's important because so many people think, oh, I gained weight from eating bread. Well, it's not bread unless you're smearing your bread with butter or other sources of grease, which have 9 calories in every gram of fat, right? Now, some people will say, well, all right, I'm eating lower fat foods. I switched from beef to chicken, so isn't that good? Okay. Bad news. The leanest beef is about 29% fat as a percentage of its calories. Typical skinless roasted chicken breast is not much lower. It's maybe around 23. Fish vary. Some are lower, some are higher. Some are actually a lot higher, like Chinook salmon, which is over 50% fat. But look at broccoli. It's 8% fat. Beans, only 4%. Rice, 1 to 5, depending on the variety. These are the truly low-fat foods. All right, now I want to make sure that everybody's paying attention. How many calories are there in a gram of beef fat? 9? 9. We all agree? Well, that's right. There are 9 calories in every gram of beef fat. How about if it's chicken fat? Still 9? That's right, good. Well, how about if it's fish oil? That's right, 9 calories in every gram of fat, no matter where it's from. Well, what if it's peanut oil? It's from a plant. Still 9. How about olive oil? That's right, 9 calories in every gram. Extra virgin olive oil? Extra virgin olive oil? How about 1040 motor oil? Okay, don't try this at home. They all have 9 calories per gram. Doesn't matter what kind of fat or oil it is. And so what that means is that if we want to lose weight, here are the keys. Avoid animal products because that's where the animal fat is, and keep the vegetable oils really low too. That means you're going to knock out all those dense calories, and that really means being careful about cooking oils, also nuts and seeds and avocados. Those are the plant foods that, I'm sorry to say, are a little too fatty. So the thing to concentrate on right now is avoiding the animal products and keep the oils out. Okay, we got that? Good. Let me share with you the keys to success as I see them. Number 1, don't focus on what you're going to be doing 30 years from now. Let's just focus on today, the short term. And secondly, don't set a foot wrong. We're going to do this 100%, and we're not even going to think about a slip. Now, some people might say, am I really doing this? The answer is yes, we really are doing this. We're going to do it for every breakfast, every lunch, every dinner, every day. So let's get started. Let me show you a simple 2-step method for starting a healthy diet, and I have never seen anybody unable to do this. Step 1, we're going to just check out the possibilities. What I'd like you to do is to take out a piece of paper, and let's go ahead and do this. Take out a piece of paper and write breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. And under each of these headings, write down some possibilities, things that you might like to try this week or that might work with this diet. They've got to be things that don't have animal products and that keep the oils really low. Very simple. Let me give you some ideas. Oatmeal with maybe cinnamon, raisins, blueberries on top to flavor it up. Now, some people like pumpernickel toast or bagels, or maybe they smear a little hummus on top. These are okay choices. And some folks who have kind of a meaty taste, well, instead of the regular sausage, why not try the veggie sausage? Or instead of scrambled eggs, try scrambled tofu. It may not be everybody's taste right at first, but some people get absolutely hooked on it. Let me give you a few other choices. And as you're seeing these, just write down anything that you think might work for you for breakfast. Now, do you like grits? Some people love it, some people never had it. If you want to, give it a try. How about a breakfast burrito? What would be inside? Beans, maybe scrambled tofu, veggies, whatever. Pancakes? Sure, they could be fine as long as they're made without the dairy products and butter and eggs. You could have bacon, but it would be veggie bacon. And if you have cold cereal, fine, but top it with soy milk, almond milk, oat milk, hemp milk, whatever it is, any kind of non-dairy milk, perfectly fine. Bananas, cantaloupe, anything you want. So let's talk about lunch. For some people, their lunch might be a hummus sandwich. And when I was a kid, I never knew what this was, but now it's just about everywhere. Soup, salad, they can be perfectly fine. It might be a bean and vegetable soup, minestrone, tomato soup, you name it, perfectly okay. If you want a burger, well, a veggie burger. That'd be a great choice. And there are a whole bunch of more lunch ideas for you to think about. 3-bean salad, veggie burgers, veggie hot dogs, all of these are okay. Take a look at some suggestions and write down any that you'd like to try. Okay, how about dinner? A lot of people just love a big plate of spaghetti with tomato sauce on top, or maybe some wild mushrooms. Great. Bean burrito? Sure, maybe with some Spanish rice. Vegetable chili? A-okay. You might have it over rice or barley or some other grain. And here are some other ideas. Can you have a vegan pizza? Absolutely. Just leave off the cheese and go for a little bit extra sauce, maybe some mushrooms and onions and spinach and sun-dried tomatoes. It can be great. Or how about a curry? Maybe black beans and rice, stews, mushroom stroganoff. Anything appeal to you? Here's some more things for you to have a look at. Just see what grabs you and write it down. So our goal right now is just to make a list of things that you'd like to try. Okay, take a minute. Let's go ahead and do this. Now let's look for snacks. Number one, fruits are terrific. Bananas, apples, oranges, you name it. And let me tell you a secret about cantaloupes. When you buy a cantaloupe, you're going to end up throwing it away because nobody ate it. And the secret is to cut it into bite-sized bits and put it in a little tub in the refrigerator, and I guarantee you it will be gone in a day and a half. Sweet potato fries, rice cakes, there are many things that people like. Take a look at this list. See if any of them grab you and just write them down. How about convenience foods? There are a number of products on the market now that help us replace meat and dairy products and eggs. They're everywhere and super easy. Here are some replacements for ground beef. If you want to put it, say, in a chili or a spaghetti sauce, it's really easy to use. Now, if you normally have a hamburger, how about a veggie burger? If you have a hot dog, how about a veggie dog? And there are deli slices that you can put on a sandwich or even on a pizza. They taste great. The idea now is just to try several different ones, see which ones you like. When it comes to replacing milk, try soy milk, almond milk, rice milk, oat milk. There are a million different varieties. See which one you like. How about cheeses? Well, in my view, the non-dairy cheeses are not necessarily so great. They're trying to simulate cheese, which is very high in fat, and they do this by making a product which is pretty high in fat too, which is something we don't want. Now, on the other hand, my favorite cheese replacer for a sauce is nutritional yeast. Have you ever heard of it? It's a fun thing that you can find at most grocery stores and at every health food store. And it comes in a tub, and it has a really cheesy kind of taste. You can put it in spaghetti sauce, you can put it on a pizza. It's delicious. Now, it's nutritional yeast, not brewer's yeast, not baker's yeast. Read the label, nutritional yeast. And if you're baking and you need to replace some eggs, here's a list of things that you can use. You can use tofu or a mashed banana, applesauce. You can use non-dairy yogurt. And there's a commercial product called Egg Replacer that you'll see at grocery stores. It works very well. Okay, so now let me ask you to turn back into the group. Let's take our papers and compare notes and come up with some good ideas. And our goal right now is not to change our diet right this second. Our goal is to experiment with some new things. We're going to get ready and we're going to set ourselves up for success. So once again, thank you so much for being part of this program, and let's get started. New things. We're going to get ready and we're going to set ourselves up for success. So once again, thank you so much for being part of this program, and let's get started.
I hope a few of you at least would be motivated to switch to this lifestyle. I know Dr. Bernard did say jokingly that, it's not from a planet Venus or something like that, or vegan, or, So it's a true story. Back in 2016, my almost 15-year-old daughter at that time, she had seen the realities of dairy farming and had come home and said, I'm going vegan. I've been a vegetarian all my life. I had no idea what veganism meant. I had to actually Google it and figure out what veganism meant. And those few months were the hardest time of my life, because not only did I have to recreate my Indian recipes that I was so fond of cooking into veganism, and a side story, my husband had lost his his eyesight, and he had to switch to this whole food plant-based, no oil lifestyle. And he says, we are not going to be using any oil or processed foods. So not only did I have to recreate all my Indian recipes with a house full of my parents, my 2 kids, my husband, my mother-in-law, and a dog, create no oil recipes. And I was at my lowest part of my life, because I kept crying, and I'm like, how am I going to cook? How am I going to figure out how to cook these things? But anyway, things happened. Here I am, very proud, very accomplished about my way of cooking, that I'm able to create all my Indian recipes with no oil. And and you'll see how easy it is to make without oil. It seems overwhelming, but it is not. So given that, the smoothie was like sort of like an easy go-to recipe for breakfast, there is a flyer or sheet that you can start adding recipes. I'm going to show a really easy braised kale recipe, and you guys have the recipe. So as Dr. Bernard said, every gram of fat is 8 calories or 9 calories, and it's dead calories, so we don't need it. And if you think about it, if you take a glass of water and put oil on it, the oil is just going to be floating. Guess what happens? If we consume the same oil, it just sticks to our body, and unfortunately, it is sticking to our arteries. And the next thing you know, you're going to have a cardiovascular event, which none of us wanted. So it's best to use plain cholesterol-free, fat-free water and cook this. So I have a pan, warming up. I'm just going to add. Oh, okay. So this slide is just to show how my board members, me, Dr. Garg, we all eat. This shows why we shouldn't be consuming, say, ice cream or bread, cheese. And there's a lot of plant-based cheeses in the market, and I think Dr. Bernard briefly mentioned, it has a lot of oils in it. Unfortunately, it is highly processed, so it's best to avoid it. There are many recipes that even I can share, and it's there on the internet, where you can make homemade cheese with cashew nuts, with tofu, with silken tofu. It's super easy. Just you need a couple of ingredients like garlic and nutritional yeast, and you can make it. It's best to avoid sugar. I don't care whether it's raw sugar, cane sugar, least processed sugar. Sugar is sugar, and it's just unwanted calories in our lifestyle. And same thing goes with nuts and chocolate. So if you do not have any cardiovascular illness or any other obesity issues, it's okay to have maybe 4 or 5 nuts in a day. But if we have other health issues, it's best to avoid it, because what happens is when we chew these nuts, seeds, and things like that, it goes and forms oil in our body, and it's unwanted fat in our body. So my family, this is how we cook at home. We live above this red line. We have a lot of vegetables. We have a lot of fruits. People think that we are extreme. People think we miss out on life. Unfortunately or fortunately, we do not miss out on life. We eat everything. Yes, there are a lot of sacrifices that we had to make in the initial years, which has become part of us. I can tell you, I have almost a 22-year-old college girl, and she cooks this way at her apartment in college. She's a senior, and I was 17-year-old, and she was 11 when we switched to this lifestyle. She makes really amazing cakes and cookies, and she makes it 100% without sugar. She uses date sugar, without oil, without any eggs. And as I said, you just have to start it, and the possibilities are endless. So I think that's good enough, and then you can switch here. So this is where Dr. Bernard was briefly talking about. This is actually a 500 calories of oil. This is our size of our stomach. So if you say you're super hungry and people present these 5 categories of food in front of you, and if you have this is 500 calories of oil, this is 500 calories of cheese, 500 calories of meat, 500 calories of grains and beans, and 500 calories of fruits and veggies. I'm sure all of you can guess 500 calories of fruits and veggies are going to be keeping you satiated for a longer period of time and keeping you fuller for a longer period of time. You're not going to be going and grabbing unwanted snacks and processed foods and things like that. So bottom line, oil does not do anything to your body. If you feel like it adds flavor to your cooking, take a tablespoon, put it on the tip of your tongue, try to taste it. It's tasteless. You're going to puke it out or spit it out the minute you touch it to your tongue. So you don't need oil. And we don't need anything that comes from an animal. It's full of cholesterol. It's hurting the environment. We're killing the animals unnecessarily. We're hurting them. And people are going to ask, where's the protein coming from? Guess what? If the cow or the elephant is eating the plants and getting their protein, we don't need to eat the elephant or the cow. We can eat the same plants that the cow and elephant eats, and we can get the protein from the same plants that they're eating. So let's stick to these two categories, the last two categories versus the first three categories. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know, because I know some people may or may not understand my accent, and if I'm going too fast, please let me know. So
I have a question.
Sure, Dr. Garg.
So how do you make Indian food without oil? A lot of Indians will ask that.
Yes, and I'm going to be making, sure. So somebody asked, how do you cook Indian food without oil? And actually, Dr. Garg, we should add one more thing, right? How do you cook Indian food without ghee? So ghee is nothing but clarified butter, which most Indians, we love it. We think that cooking or food does not taste good without ghee. You're going to taste one of the dishes that I've made today without ghee, which typically we put a lot of ghee in it, which is called khichdi, but it's a rice and lentil porridge. It's oozing in ghee. So I have prepared it without ghee, and I'm going to show you also how easy it is to make it without oil or ghee. And again, we go back to water. Water does help in, cooking away the onions or the tomatoes or whatever we need to add. So do you want me to show the khichdi first, or I think we can show the kale first, right? I think I think this is after the. Yeah. Oh, this is the khichdi is first. Okay. So I'm going to show the Indian dish. Does most people, I think most of us have the Instant Pot, right? You guys know how to use it. So in the Instant Pot, and as I said, this is a perfect dish for folks who are working, who are very busy. Put everything in the morning, put it in the delay start, and then when you come home from work, it's ready, all done. So I just switched on the saute mode. It's completely dry. I don't know if you guys can see, but trust me, there isn't any water or oil or ghee in it. So I'm just going to put, this is cumin seeds and bay leaf. That's it. I'm just going to dry roast it. Because there isn't any oil, the roasting of the cumin seeds takes maybe a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes longer, but it's well worth the wait. It adds more aroma and flavor and things like that. So, and I brought some gadgets here just to show how easy, when that's roasting. I don't know if many of you guys have these gadgets at home, but I just wanted to show. The first one is, this is a onion cutter or chopper, and it works great for especially folks like my husband who cannot cut an onion without crying up. I don't know, I must have cut way too many onions in my life, so I have no issues. So as you can see, it's perfectly diced. And they have different blades, so you can select the size and things like that. This is another one. I don't know if you might think this is a hair straightener. It isn't. It's the most, I don't know, efficient thing in my kitchen. When we cut packets this way, unfortunately, most of us have it, and we find ties and things like that. You switch it on, you use it like a hair straightener, and it seals these packets. And it's an amazing tool. It's just $9 on Amazon. I don't get anything. I'm just trying here to show how easy it is, for folks who say that things are hard and I don't have time and things like that. And I don't know if you know what this is. People, guys know what this is? No? Garlic peeler. So you just put a garlic and then just press it, and then the skin of the paper of the garlic just comes out. So another easy gadget. And then this is a really great gadget too, because you just put garlic. You can make even salsas and things like that. And all that you have to do is just pull it. You're going to get minced garlic. The more you pull the rope or the string, you're going to get finer and finer garlic. You can make salsa. You put all the ingredients, just pull it, you're going to get fresh salsa. So just because it says, to just show some tips how to make things easier. Is it dishwasher safe? Yes, it is. Is it dishwasher safe, she asked, except for this one. This is dishwasher safe. This is dishwasher safe. Everything is. So I even put this in the dishwasher, believe it or not. So the cumin seeds have roasted. I'm sure you guys are going to start getting the fragrance. Again, no oil. You don't need oil. And then it says, I think it says a teaspoon of ginger. Again, cooking is an experiment, science experiment, add, eliminate, it's up to you. And at this point, if you think, it's going to start roasting, I have one tip. You can add a little bit of salt. If I can find the salt. Oh, there it is. Sorry. There are folks who don't consume salt. If you do consume salt, put a little bit of salt. The salt actually helps the onion ooze out their water or the flavor, and then you don't need to add much water either if you want to. And if you see, it's getting roasted. You don't need oil or ghee, and you can add a little bit of water if you want. To keep the essence of time and everybody's time, I'm just going to add the rest of the ingredients so that way everybody gets to see all the dishes that I'm going to be presenting today. I'm just going to be putting one chopped tomato. So let it saute for like another 4 or 5 minutes, and then add the chop. Again, these are frozen vegetables. You can add whatever vegetables suits you and you prefer. I just add lots of vegetables because we saw, right? The more vegetables you add, the more fuller our stomachs are going to be, and we're going to be not going and grabbing for an afternoon snack and things like that. So these are just frozen vegetables. And then I'm going to be adding all the spices. So I think it's a teaspoon of ground cumin powder. It's a teaspoon of ground coriander powder, garam masala, and most of these spices are available at Whole Foods, or if you have access to an Indian store. And then turmeric is one of my most favorite Indian spice. It does not add much flavor, but it has a lot of healing properties. It is anti-cancerous and things like that. So I have to tell you another true story. Some of my friends already know this. A dog got diagnosed with spleen cancer back in May. He had a week max to live. We came home, we said our prayers and everything, and we said, okay, let's give him one more chance. We threw away all his kibbles. We switched him to just rice, vegetables, and lots of turmeric. Guess what? It's 6 months since his post-diagnosis. He's still alive, still chasing a squirrel. So this thing is potent. It's powerful, trust me. And it has a lot of anti-cancerous properties. It reduces inflammation. It's good for your heart, any kind of inflammation. If you want to purify your face and make it all pretty, put a little bit of plant-based milk, mix it up, put it on your face. It's going to give a nice glow too. So our vet actually refers or gives our number out to other patients whose dog gets diagnosed with spleen cancer, believe it or not. So we have been giving these recipes out. So he eats what we eat. So just no salt, no sugar, and no oil for him too. So this is chili powder. I'm just going to add a little. Again, if you don't want to add it, if you don't like spicy food, you can eliminate it, skip it. It's up to you. Yes, Meryl. Sure. This was actually a big. She asked what kind of a tomato did I add. This one was a big beef, but it does not matter. It's tomato is tomato. And that reminds me, tomatoes have an antioxidant called lycopene. Dr. Garg, did I pronounce it right? So lycopene is a kind of antioxidant. As most of us know, we need to consume a lot of antioxidant. Unfortunately, animal products do not have even like 0.5% of antioxidant. The darker the vegetables, the darker the fruits, the more antioxidants we get. And we need that for not triggering a cancer cell in our body, because we all have it, we all carry that, right, Dr. Garg? It just certain things just trigger and we get cancer, and we get diagnosed with cancer. So we have to constantly keep having a lot of antioxidants, so not we don't get cancer diagnosis and things like that. Yes, Mel. So her question was, what kind of chili powder did I add? We Indians, we like it hot, we like it spicy, but that doesn't mean that everybody likes it that spicy. So it's up to you. I prefer cayenne pepper. And at the Indian store, they have a couple of varieties. One is called the Kashmiri red chili powder, which adds a lot of color. It makes a dish like reddish. It's not very spicy. And then the other kind, which is spicy, but it does not add color. So it's up to you. It's your preference. I have both at home because I have a almost 22-year-old who, I don't know which house she got raised at, because she cannot eat anything I cook, which everything is spicy for her. And then I have a 17-year-old who finds everything bland. So I don't know which house either one got, whose food they ate. So this is rice and orange lentil. Again, you can use any kind of lentil. For today's presentation, I use the orange lentil just because it's easily available at any grocery store. You don't have to run to the Indian store to find it. And this is brown basmati rice. Brown rice, believe it or not, has a lot of protein compared to white rice. White rice is highly processed. It's best to avoid it. If you're in a circumstance you have no other rice or no other grain available, go ahead, have the white rice. This has fewer calories, lot more protein, and it's much healthier, the brown rice. And this is what we give our dog too. So when you guys are buying rice, be careful what kind of rice you buy, from which area of United States it has grown. Rice that comes from Louisiana and the southern states have a lot of arsenic in it, and arsenic products cause cancer. So if you have access to an Indian store, or get, like even at the American store, if you find, says made in India or manufactured in India or grown in India or grown in Pakistan, one of those South Asian countries, get that kind of rice. If not, then get the rice that is grown in California. These rices that are grown in South Asian countries or in California have lower arsenic content. And as I said, we are here to heal our bodies from all the garbage that we have accumulated in it over the years that we have been eating. So a few years back, when we switched to this lifestyle, my husband and I, we would have these arguments. I'm like, I've been vegetarian all my life. I'm healthy. Why should I switch to this lifestyle? And now I know better. So, and sure. Yes, I did. Yes, I did rinse it and washed it, rinsed it a couple of times. I actually rinsed the dal too, the lentil, because I don't know what kind of circumstance it was manufactured. Her question was, did I wash and rinse the rice and lentil? And yes, I did. So, and I did soak it for some time. I soaked it at home, and then I just drained all the water, and I just brought it. So. Yes, it is. The question is, does the organic have less arsenic? And yes, the answer is yes. Most products that have, say, organic in this country have the what is that, FDA controls and been tested out. So anything is organic has fewer pesticides and, whatever you add to make it more beautified. Like when I came to this country, when I was like terrified when I saw like a big onion like this big. I had never seen an onion. When I growing up in India or Africa, our onion sizes were this small. It was like even the onions and the tomatoes are on steroids in this country. So it's best to, if you can afford it, if you have access, try to have organic. I can tell you in my family, it's not very economical to have everything organic. There's something called Dirty Dozen. You can go look it up. There are 12 things on that list, which is they add a lot of fertilizers and things like that. So
There's the cord fell.
oh, which one? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's okay. I'm almost done. So yeah, so the Dirty Dozen, if you can look it up, try to buy those things. Kale comes under that. Strawberries come under that. I try to buy 100% organic strawberries. Kale, I always buy kale organic. Soya beans, corn, buy organic. Never buy the non-organic because it's GMO otherwise, and you don't want genetically modified, food to be entering your body. So this is it. If you want, you can add salt. If you don't want, don't add salt. I'm just going to add water. And again, as I said, I have prepared enough for you guys, so this can keep cooking. I'm going to add water and then switch on, and that's it. I have a question. Sure. What is hing? Okay, so hing, that's what I added. It comes from a bark, and it's not very commonly. We Indians, we use it a lot, but actually, it actually grows and comes from Afghanistan, believe it or not. So when the war broke out and we all had to leave Afghanistan, there was a lot of rumors that there's going to be a shortage and things like that. But luckily, I have heard that in the northern part of India, they have actually started growing these trees. It actually comes from a bark. And it's the properties of hing, it actually helps in digestion. And it adds flavor too. Like when there's a dish in the southern part of India that I'm from, we call it rasam. We add a lot of hing. It just enhances the flavor to the next level. So yeah, you'll have to go to the Indian store. And as I said, if you do not have access to an Indian store, no worries, you can skip it. Yeah. So we Indians, yes. So I'm just going to. Pardon me. Oh, pardon me. No, that's fine. I have made enough. So yeah, that's fine. So. And so I'm going to be serving this khichdi with soya yogurt. I prepare soya yogurt every day at home, believe it or not. That was our big thing in our house when we switched to this lifestyle. How are we going to eat yogurt? We're from the southern part of India. The part of India I'm from, we have to consume yogurt every day. And that was a really hard thing in our house. Like how we went a few months without having yogurt. I must have spent like, I don't know, a few $100s trying to get different kinds of plant-based milk to, prepare yogurt. And finally we figured it out, so it worked. This is thick Greek yogurt made out of soya bean milk. And you can see how thick it is. It's as good as dairy milk. You don't need things that come from an animal. So there are 3 kinds of milk that I would suggest for preparing the soya bean yogurt. One is the Trader Joe's, which is the cheapest. It's $1.99. Yeah, you can. I think it's in the end, Dr. Gabrielle. You might have to, yeah, it's after this, yeah. And then you can go back to the black bean chili. So this is $1.99. What you need to look for in the label is just 2 ingredients. It should just say soya bean and water. If you have any other ingredients that you cannot pronounce, you cannot read, do not get that. It has a lot of oil in it. It's not pure milk. It has things that you don't want to, again, add to your body. Lectins, yeah. So there is an ingredient called lectin that people don't know. Lectin is actually a kind of oil. So people think that, oh, it's plant-based, so it's not a big deal, but it is actually oil. So please try to avoid things that even say soya lectin or almond lectin and things like that.
Oh, lecithin.
Lecithin, sorry, lecithin, sorry. So it's $1.99, this one. There's another couple of other brands, West Soy and Eden brand. Eden brand is the most expensive, but there are times that Trader Joe's runs out of it, so then we do end up buying West Soy and Eden. All that you have to do is take it. There are 3 different ways. One is you can put it just directly in a Pyrex glass container like this, put it in the Instant Pot, put the yogurt mode on, just take it out of the carton. You don't have to do anything. And in 6 hours, you're going to get yogurt. The other way that I prefer doing it is I prefer boiling it on the stove top. And when it's lukewarm, I just add a tablespoon of the previous day's culture and set it in the oven with the pilot line switched on. The heat from the light helps maintain the temperature for the yogurt to get activated and form. So you guys can taste it at the end. And so this is your probiotic, by the way. Lentils are a great source of prebiotic. Yogurt is a great source of probiotic. And you can use this to make parfaits. You can use this to make milkshakes. You can use this to make smoothies. There are Indian recipes that I make Shrikand out of it, which is like has saffron and a cardamom powder and things like that. So you can use this for anything that you want. And Indian recipes like in Kannada we call it majige huli. In Hindi it's called kadhi. You can use this. So you don't have to be deprived of Indian recipes that require yogurt. Here's your yogurt. So Indian yogurt. So going back to one of our favorite dish in our house is kale. We buy boatloads of kale in our house. If there isn't kale in my house, my husband may not be eating that day. So Dr. Ezelstyn, if you guys know, he's, I think he's President Bill Clinton's doctor too. He actually saved him when he was having his heart issues and things like that. He has done a lot of research, and he's also plant-based, and he tells us why we have to eat this way and things like that. I'm not a medical doctor. Dr. Garg is there. So if you guys have any medically related questions, Dr. Garg or even Madhuri is a doctor, I forgot. So you guys can ask her. But from my understanding is there is a chemical that forms that we need for our healthy cardiovascular health. It's called nitric oxide. When we chew anything like dark leafy vegetables like kale, spinach, bok choy, Swiss chard, and we add something acidic like balsamic vinegar or soya sauce or tamari, and you actually chew it, not make it into a smoothie, but chew it. When we chew it, the saliva when we start chewing it, the nitric oxide gets formed and it enters our system, and it actually keeps our endothelium healthy. And I don't know if Dr. Garg or Madhuri, you guys want to add more to that, but that's my understanding. And so before you consume any meal, you can have this dish 4 or 5 times in a day. You don't even have to complicate it by adding garlic. At my house, we keep it very simple. We just steam kale, and then just before consuming, we just put balsamic vinegar and chew it, take a fistful. That's all you need for a healthy heart. And it actually clears up your endothelium. Yes. So his question was balsamic, what kind of balsamic vinegar? So most preferred is balsamic vinegar without sugar. So when you're reading the label, some say added sugar. Try to avoid those, the ones that say added sugar. You don't want any unnecessary calories and dead calories entering your body. So this is another very easy recipe. This is called braised kale. Again, there are different ways to prepare this. It's just 1/4 cup of water. This is the oil in my house. So And I had the kale, I mean the garlic, so it's in that container, the one that I had peeled. No, she has it. Joan has it. Yeah, that's okay. So just going to add, you can avoid it if you don't like garlic. As I said, I don't add it on a daily basis, but garlic is another great thing to eat. It actually helps reduce your cholesterol. So, and that's, you see, you don't need oil, bottom line. So this is about a bunch of kale. If you guys don't have the time to sit and sort and clean kale, these days at Trader Joe's, at most like even Mariano's and things like that, they have like packet triple washed and things like that. I just get that. I do still wash it once just in case, and then I just remove these hardy stems because it's hard to chew on. And this is cooking. I just add kale. This is it. This is triple washed from Trader Joe's. This is about a bunch. And then you can just saute it. Some folks ask if this lifestyle is expensive. I can tell you, I have never eaten meat, but I don't know what the cost of meat is, but I've heard it is expensive. This isn't very expensive. I can tell you, I can guarantee you, because you're going to buy as fresh as possible. And when you buy as fresh, you want to finish it off by cooking it. So you're not going to throw, the wastage is less. You're saving money on processed food. You're saving money on oils. You're saving money on sugar. So your grocery bill is going to look a lot lower than when you had gone and bought all these other ingredients. And, and it keeps you fuller for a longer time. So you don't need those mid-afternoon snacks. So you can add a little bit more water if needed. Yes. So I just got back. I was in a facility in True North in California. I just came back. I water fasted for 18 days. I just lived on water, believe it or not. So the joke there is, if we eat this lifestyle, you're going to be collecting from Social Security for a longer period of time. So for most of us, we have contributed. I know I've been here almost 27 years. I've been contributing for the last 25 years into Social Security. So if you eat this way, you're going to be collecting for maybe 30, 35 years. So you want to eat this way so that you collect from Social Security. So, and then again, just to save time, I have prepared a whole bunch of it so you guys can enjoy and taste it. I'm just going to add a little bit of soy sauce at this point to cook it, because that's what the recipe says. Again, you don't have to add it at this point. You can add it later on. And you can see I'm not been adding any salt. This is low sodium soy sauce. I couldn't find coconut aminos. I have a dear friend who's who can't have soya bean, but unfortunately yesterday I did not have access to go get coconut aminos. So coconut aminos is gluten free and soya bean free, right, Meryl? This one has soya beans. So if there are some folks who are allergic to soya beans, so best to avoid this and try the coconut aminos. It still gives the same flavor as soya sauce. And this is low sodium soya sauce, because you just don't want unnecessary salt entering your body. So, and then I'm just going to add juice of half a lime, and then that's it. As I said, you don't need oil to cook anything. completely wilted and soft. It cooks pretty fast. So another thing, great dish with kale is you just wash it thoroughly. You can add a little bit of aquafaba. If you folks don't know what aquafaba is, it's the liquid after you boil like garbanzo beans or black beans and things like that. Take a little bit of that. Take the kale leaves and put any seasoning of your choice, salt, pepper, chili powder. Spread it on a tray and bake it in the oven, and you have amazing kale chips. Nothing deep fried and extremely low in fat. So this is it. This is braised kale, and I'm just going to show one last dish, which is black beans chili. So this is was a new dish to me when I came to this country. When I came to this country, I had no idea what black bean chili was. I did not even know what Caesar salad was. When I went at my first job, they offered me a Caesar salad, and I ate it, not knowing what went in a Caesar salad. I thought it was a salad. And then one colleague of mine, she pulled me aside and she's like, I thought you're a vegetarian. And I said, yes, I'm a vegetarian. And she says, there's anchovies in it. And I asked her, what were anchovies? I did not even know what anchovies were. So that's how ignorant I was. Now I know better, but so anyway, this is a new dish. I was never introduced. Mom never made it, in my life. So this is again an amazing meal prep dish. You prepare it on a Sunday. You can, most of these dishes you can meal prep. You can keep it, prepare it on the weekend, and switch around, play around. Maybe one day you have it with quinoa, one day you have it with brown rice, one day you have it with barley or, bulgur or, wheat and things like that. So again, I'm just going to be adding water. I'm going to add I think the pot is hot. So I'm just going to add, I think it's one yellow onion diced. And thank you, Karen, for cutting all this for me. So I just want to tell you guys, I'm part of an amazing organization called Plant-Based Nutritional Movement. It's locally based. Our president, Meryl, is also here. And we do amazing things for the society, for the welfare of our, human society and things like that. And she and Carrie, they've been working relentlessly trying to save our future, who are our kids. It's very sad. When I came to this country, kids growing up in India were on the thinner side. And obesity, sadly, is spread all over the world. It doesn't matter where you are. Even the remotest of villages in India, kids are obese. And we all know what comes with obesity. And obesity adds early onset of diabetes, early onset of cardiovascular diseases. There are many kids getting diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. I had no idea what type 1 diabetes was till a few years back, because I had never heard. I don't even know even a friend of mine who was diagnosed. Unfortunately, infants are getting diagnosed. Guess what? The mom was eating something that was not healthy, and the way the baby was, formed inside the womb just triggered something, So I don't know, Meryl, do you want to talk about the summit that we're having? Because this is getting sorted right now. So she and Carrie have this summit that's coming up, and just.
Thanks, Sharmila.
No
I wasn't
problem.
expecting that.
Hey.
So my name is Meryl. Thank you.
No problem.
I love this lady. I love her. Oh my gosh.
We all love each other.
Oh,
That's all
my
I can
gosh,
say.
right? So Carrie, wave, stand up, make yourself known. Carrie and I are board members. I'm the president and CEO of the Plant-Based Nutrition Movement. Carrie's one of our board members. And there are several others of us here. There's Joan, who's been up and down with the green apron on, and there's Karen with the blue shirt. And there's Judy in the back there. She's our secretary. And we're all working to make a difference in child health specifically. Because as Sharmila was saying, so many of our children here and all over the world, obviously, are being, we're feeding them to death is what we're doing. We're killing them with food. I'm a registered nurse by education. I spent 30 years as a public health nurse. And I've watched children as they, from very small and they get older and they get heavier and heavier. And before long, they're dealing with obesity and anxiety and depression and type 2 diabetes. And then, heart disease comes along. And all of these kinds of things can be positively affected by clean diet. What we don't think about is that our food actually makes the building blocks that builds the body and for the brain, right? So if we eat food that's just what we call non-health promoting, makes us sick, lots of fat and sugar and oil and additives and animal products are a big problem, highly processed food. It does not give the body what it needs to develop in a healthy way, not physically or mentally or emotionally, and dare I say spiritually. It just is, it does not do a good job at all. So anyway, we're having a summit December 3rd through the 6th. It's called the 6 Million Seeds Child Nutrition Summit. 4 days of 11 speakers, 2 sessions per day, all about the world of child health and nutrition. So there will be educators and medical doctors and researchers and climate change activists, all talking about the importance
Cooking
of
demos.
Yes, cooking demos, right?
A kid is going to be doing some cooking demos. So if a 12, 13-year-old kid can do it, we all can do it.
Yes,
so.
yes. I think she's making lasagna.
Yes. with homemade cheese.
Yes,
So.
yes. So we actually have some information. We have a way to register that's super easy. It is free. It's live. It's online. You don't even have to leave your home. So that's what that's about. But we'll have the information out here shortly, and you can take a picture of it. You can register. You can.
There's a QR code there, so.
Yes.
Yes. So you can scan.
And the URL if you don't like QR codes, because some people don't like those. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So my onion is still sauteing. It's taking a little longer. So I'm just going to add a little bit of garlic too. I'm just going to be rushing just because, I want you guys to enjoy all the food that it has been prepared so that you guys can taste it. So I just added garlic, and then I'm just going to add all the spices. This is, I think, 1 teaspoon oregano, 2 teaspoon ground cumin powder. So what I realized is in this lifestyle, because we're not adding oil and we're not adding other fats and things like that, increasing the amount of spices enhances the flavor of the dish, especially with our Indian dishes. Adding a little more of the hing that you mentioned, or adding a little more of the chili powder, or adding a little more of the garam masala actually enhances the flavor and makes it really delicious. And I have fed this to folks who have been very skeptical about my way of cooking and eating, and they cannot tell the difference. They sometimes think I've cheated by adding oil and just to prove a point. So, and then I'm just going to add the tomato. I think it is 8 ounces crushed fire roasted tomatoes. Again, you get salt-free variety and the salted kind at the grocery store in a can. You can choose which one you prefer and just add it to this. Then you just add black beans and add water and let it simmer for 5-6 minutes. And this is just 16-ounce organic black beans. You get the salt-free variety, you get the salt kind. Just make sure there's only black beans, water, and salt, or no salt if you prefer that kind. again, try to buy the one that has clean ingredients. You don't want things that you cannot read because you don't know what it is. So I think you have to add consistency is up to your preference. If you like it thicker, like a thicker kind of chili to have with cornbread, you can add lesser amount of water. If you like it on the soupy kind, then add more water. And you don't feel like having it with any grain, you feel like having it with tortilla chips, just cut corn tortillas, slow bake it at say 200 degrees in the oven, and you get perfect corn tortilla chips. You don't need to buy it from the store. And that's it. You're going to serve this with folks who like cilantro. You can serve it with cilantro. You can cut it a few diced avocados. You can serve it with that, or you can have it with rice or any kind of grains and things like that. So a squeeze of lemon or lime also works great. I did not add the chili powder, but if you want, you can add chili powder to make it spicy. So I just did not know if there are folks who don't like chili spicy. So because the other batch does have chili powder, so we kept it this way. So that's it. If you guys have any other questions, there are two medical doctors here. If you guys have any medical questions, so
thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
I just wanted to ask you a few things
Sure.
first before we end. First of all, can you talk about your experience with Food for Life, and was this your first presentation?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. So I have done a couple of other cooking demos, but this was part of PCRM. They have a curriculum. So as I said, Dr. Bernard has been running this for the last 20 years, I think, past 20 years. And the way you apply for this Food for Life coach is there's a very detailed and comprehensive application. And then you also have to submit a 2 to 3 minute, I think it's a 3-minute video, a cooking demo. So I had created an Indian crepe dish with a kind of millet, a foxtail millet. I done that. My videographer was my 20-year-old or 21-year-old daughter at that time, and submitted it. They had an interview round. It was a very detailed, almost a half an hour, 40-minute interview round. And then only 25 people get selected in a year. Pre-COVID, this training was in person, either in Los Angeles or in Washington, D.C. I was the first batch, which was a completely virtual training, and it was a 8-week training. And at the end of it, we get certified. Their goal, and which is my goal too, is to teach how easy it is to cook this way and heal our bodies. At the end of the day, whether it is Meryl trying to help the kids or we trying to help our kids, it's all about healing our bodies. And unfortunately, since the day we are born, our parents may not know better, so they add crap to our body. We learn how to eat this way. We add more crap to our body, and our body at one point just says, I'm done. I cannot process this. So you have a kidney failure, or you have a heart failure, or some kind of failure. So let's try to change what we eat, what we do to our bodies, help our bodies, heal and detoxify. And our future, as I said, is our kids. So if we eat this way, not only we are helping our kids, we're helping the environment too, and saving the animals, which is the most important thing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a great privilege to have you. I know it's a very selective program.
Yes,
there's only a select few
Yes.
in the Chicagoland
Yes.
area, and we look forward to more.
Oh yeah, if you guys are interested, I can come back with other recipes. If you guys like more Indian recipes, I can show more Indian recipes. So anytime. So.
And these videos are exclusive with Dr. Barnard.
Yes.
So it's amazing.
Yeah, only people who are certified have access to these videos. There are many more videos, so not everybody gets access to
They're
it.
part of the program. And
Yes.
One more thing I wanted to.
So the recipes are online.
Yes.
Recipes are going to be online.
Yes.
And the QR codes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So all the recipes are online. There are QR codes that you can just click on and you can have access.
Yeah.
For folks who are here, I have printed out all the recipes, and you guys have. And the recipes, other than the Indian recipes, these are PCRM recipes, but the Indian recipe is mine. But as I said, I keep repeating myself, but it's the fact that cooking is a science experiment. increase, decrease, add, eliminate. It's all up to you. So
yeah, mixture between art and
Yeah.
science. And while you're here, I want to ask you one more thing. Can you talk about your experience with Dr. Barnard and his book, Body
Okay.
and Balance?
So sure.
And if you can share a little bit about
Sure,
your
sure.
own experience.
So as I said, we switched to this lifestyle back in 2016. It's a long story short. I'm going to summarize it in a couple of sentences. My husband lost his eyesight. He was diagnosed with a rare autoimmune disease called VK syndrome, and there's only 20% chance that he was going to get his eyesight back, and it was only through steroids, very strong dosage of steroids. Luckily, he did get his eyesight back, and when he got his eyesight back, he did a lot of research, must have spent thousands of hours trying to do research, and we came to a conclusion that it was all in the food that we ate. As I said, we were vegetarians, but my husband loved eggs. My older daughter loved eggs. They consumed a lot of eggs and Greek yogurt and things like that. And he developed a leaky gut, and then he had glacier water. Again, he lost his eyesight. We switched to this overnight, cold turkey. Mom and dad are here, they're the proof. So anyway, so I did not think much. I've always had issues with my uterine health and things like that. I was diagnosed with cyst when I was 16 years old. Mom did a lot to help me at that time. Came to this country. Anyway, I was able to have 2 kids and things like that. But 2017, I started having a lot of uterine issues and female hormone issues and things like that. Kept eating this way, kept improvising how we eat, eliminating one more thing. 2018, I did go back to my gynecologist. I said, I think my cyst is back. She said, no, I don't think so. I said, no, I know it is back. She did an ultrasound. Both the cysts were back. Fibroids, I was diagnosed with fibroids. This was April of 2018. And she said, oh, let's monitor. I was 44 at that time. And we'll see how it goes. Can you come back in 6 months and things like that. So I come back in 6 months, still continuing to eat this way. She almost fell off her chair because my cyst was gone. My fibroids had shrunk in size. She had never heard of it. And she said, okay, let's continue monitoring. And at that time, I had told Dr. Garg about it, or my husband and I, we both told Dr. Garg. And Dr. Garg knew Dr. Barnard personally, and he was writing this book, Your Body in Balance, and he mentioned, and Dr. Barnard was really fascinated with my story, and that's how he interviewed me. He talked to me, he looked at my medical records, and that's how my small story got featured. And I came back. The reason I went to True North to water fast, I water fasted for 18 days because my fibroids are still there. They're very tiny. It was like almost like a booster shot. I went there, water fasted, and next Monday is my ultrasound. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that everything has been shrunk and eliminated. So I'm going to be 48 in December. So
thank you. We'll be praying for you.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Yes. So
thank you.
But,
so yeah, what a privilege.
Yes.
And so thank you again, Sharmila.
Yeah, no problem.
And
Anytime.
I just wanted to share a little bit about Sharmila's contact information.
Yeah.
So she has given her email address, and then looks like you have a website.
Yes.
Is that a new website?
No, that's this is a new website.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Because there were folks on the Facebook group who said searching was hard. So I've been with the full-time job. It's hard. I'm a tax accountant. I'm not a nurse. I'm not nothing to do in the medical facility. But I love cooking. My mom is an amazing cook. I learned very expensive way of learning cooking because when I came to this country, a call to India was $1.50 or almost $2. And so every recipe was very expensive to learn. So, but I would call mom because I got married and I came at 20 and couldn't cook even the basic stuff. I'm not joking, I'm not lying. I would call mom almost daily. And so anyway, she's my guru when it comes to cooking, and I still, bow down to her. So for that. But so I've been trying to put transferring all my Facebook recipes to that. And my husband and I, we started this page. Dr. Garg is on our page. Most of my board members are on this page. I know Madhuri is on this page. We started this page because what would happen is we would get calls and people would tell me, or maybe the American way of cooking is easy without oil. Indian recipes cannot be done. And I would say, no, it can be done. I've been doing it. And people would challenge me. People would say, okay, show me how it's done. I can't invite everybody to my house. So we started this page so that we started putting recipes up. We started, people now, there are so many people who have switched to this lifestyle. They put up their recipes. They put up their success stories. There are doctors who put up medical, information and things like that. So it's very informative. It's a very close group. Once you get, we let you in. It's
Yeah, and it's very well moderated. So the
Yes.
nice thing about this group is that people from all over India can share regional recipes, and also so many Americans join this group and have
Yes.
found amazing
Yes.
Indian food.
Yes.
So this is our next program by Chef Irina from Purple Sprout. It's her second program, and it's an exciting one because it will be desserts, and we hope
Yummy.
all of you can come to this one. It's always fun.
December 4th.
December 4th. And the way you can register, we'll put the QR code for salient.eventbrite.com. And I think, is the QR code next? Okay. And then we have a special gym night because we are a lifestyle medicine center. We like to focus on all the pillars, including physical activity. This is a very special gym night from 6 to 8 p.m. for the whole community, and the website to register is gymnight.eventbrite.com, and we hope you can make it, because even if you have a gym membership, it's just a chance to get together and work out together, even if you just go around the walking track. Thank
So
you.
you guys are going to be working out?
Yeah, it's a special night just for anyone who wants to come work
okay.
out in Elgin.
Oh, okay.
So the Center of Elgin has given us a
Oh, nice.
special night for free. So thank you. And is the next one the QR code? Oh, okay, great. So that's it for our presentation. We hope all of you can enjoy the food.
Yeah, and I was going to show, I did not show this. I did not put it. It was a
this
last
is
minute.
a special treat. Yeah,
Yes,
tell us.
it was a last minute thing. I'm going to be serving sort of an early dinner, but I figured there wasn't any dessert. So this is a very easy dessert. This is caramel apples, by the way. When you bite into it, you're going to think that it's caramel. And it's plant-based. It's super easy. Even a 2-year-old can prepare this as long as you cut the apples and cut the dates and give it. These are majul dates. They're one of the sweetest dates out there. Just cut it, stick the half of date or 3/4 of a date and bite onto it, and you're good.
Yeah, I've had those. Those are really amazing.
Yes.
It's perfect for the season.
Yes.
The fall season.
Yes.
So that's it for today.
Yes.
Thank you again, everyone, and we get to enjoy the food now.
Yes.
Thank you.
And there's a lot of food, so help yourself.
Thank
If they
you.
leftovers too.
Thank you.
No problem, Dr. Garg. Thank you.